Good evening and welcome to your Mad for Options session with me, Kim from Positively Mad. We're so excited to be working at Beckford Oakbank School on this Options Evening 2020, just to take you through a few ideas around choosing the best options for you. My name is Kim. Positively Mad stands for positively making a difference. And as a company, that's what we aim to do, to positively make a difference, not just to students and their studying and their learning and their grades, but also the impact that has on their future and achieving their goals and their full potential. As we move through the session, there are going to be times with some activities to do. Where we're working virtually, what I'd like you to do at those points is simply pause the film, take part in the activity, press play when you're ready to restart again. At Positively Mad, we also like to use little actions to help keep our brain going and to process information. So we're going to start with one of those now. You'll have been looking at the screen for a while this evening, looking into the lessons, the exciting things that are going to happen, the skills you might learn, and the teachers. So I want to give your brain just a little bit of a physical break. So I would like you all, please, parents, teachers, and students alike, to pop your hands up in front of you like this. On one fist, I'd like you to put out your index finger, so the finger you would normally point with. On the other fist, put out your little finger. Now, at the same time, I want you to swap them over and keep going. So you should have one pointy finger, one little finger. Now, don't worry if at any point you kind of went, dude, perfectly natural. These things are set to be slightly tricky for our brain the first time we do them. But the more we practice, the easier it gets and the quicker we can achieve. Now, it may feel a bit like this with your options. You may have looked at one of those subjects and gone, that looks really interesting, but, or it might be a bit tricky. Now, don't let that worry you, because there will be ways that once you start doing the subject, you can find it easier, you can get on really well. It may well be the best one for you. So the key thing we're going to focus on in our session this evening is the decision-making process, making the right decision for you to make sure that you get the best from your options. So let's just take a little look at the idea of choosing your options. When it comes to making a decision, one really important thing that we need to think about is actually who is involved in that decision-making process. Now, with your options, it's mainly going to be you. So ask yourself these questions. With my decision, who is involved? Who is involved in this decision? Who is it going to affect? Ask yourself as well the extent of the impact. Is it going to have a minor impact on my life, on their life? Is it going to have a major impact? The other question we need to ask ourselves is the timescale. Is this just going to affect me now or those people now, or is it going to roll on into the future? And finding 3 points of view. 3 points of view about that decision. Somebody who maybe agrees, who disagrees, and someone in the middle ground who's got more questions that you might need to ask. Because the key thing with our decisions is making them informed, getting as much information as we can. Often with a big decision, if it's something that we find a little bit scary, we maybe feel a bit anxious, we sometimes tend to put it off. Suddenly, we then only have a little bit of time to make that actual decision. So by taking time early on and thinking about these steps, who, the extent, and the time scale, we can actually give ourselves a chance to make a really informed decision. Now, when it comes to your options, who is involved mainly is you. It's mainly about you choosing subjects that work for you and for that career path. The extent of the impact is going to be pretty major because these results, these subjects are going to stay with you then forever into college, university, even into the big career field. The timescale works right the way through. It's immediate because you're going to spend the next few years studying and learning these subjects. It's also going to affect you in the future. Now, you might not go on and use these subjects in your future career, but what you will use are the skills you learn as you go through the studying process. Also, 3 points of view. What's quite nice is you've got your teachers available at school on email to ask any questions to get their opinion on your choices. You've also got your parents, maybe at home with a carer, an auntie or an uncle, loads of people that you can ask for help and for advice. So we're going to take a little look through a process that you can use to help you make those right choices. So what is the point of today? You guys have seen different subjects. You've been aware of your options, what you can do. And what's the point of this session now? If you don't know what you want yet, how do I choose? How do I choose what I want to do when I don't actually know where I want to go? And I'm not going to get a job for years, right? All that career stuff seems years and years in the future. But what options do is they help us to be prepared for those futures, the big wide world, beyond school, going into a career, college, university. Now, it doesn't matter if you don't know exactly what you want to do right now. It may be that you do, but by the time you leave school, that can have changed. Loads of adults still aren't 100% sure exactly what they want to do. So it's about being prepared, choosing a wide range of options to give you the most possibilities and the most choices when you move out into that big, wide world. So let's take a little look at the idea of that big, wide world. You may have seen some subjects today that looked really interesting, but maybe a little bit tricky. You looked at it and thought, oh, I really like the look of that subject, but I think it might be a bit hard. Now, one thing is not to let that put you off that subject, because sometimes it might just be about finding a slightly easier way of studying it. Maybe asking other people who are already doing that subject what it's actually like and what the workload is. So let me give you a quick example of how this works. On the screen, I've got some text about Neil Armstrong, the famous astronaut. Now, Neil Armstrong knew exactly what he wanted to do from a very young age. I just want you to imagine that I've given you that piece of text and I want you to learn and remember it. So I want you to learn and remember this piece of text about Neil Armstrong. I want you to think about how long it would take you to learn and remember all of the text on the page. Don't worry about reading it now. Just think about how long it would take you to learn and remember it. Take a couple of moments, discuss it if you want to. How long do you reckon? Brilliant. Some of you may have gone, oh, do you know what? I reckon I could probably do that in about 10 minutes. Some of you have gone, oh, take a good couple of hours, I reckon. You might have looked at that and just gone, looks like loads to do, and I don't have time to do it. No, whatever. Now, the key thing with a page of text is often we see it and our brain goes, oh, that looks like lots of hard work. Now, I said at the beginning, it's about finding different ways and finding our feet when it comes to learning and taking on new information. So this here is the same information, but as a mind map. Now, a mind map is a picture form of information. We know it's about Neil Armstrong because his name is in the middle and it's written on a picture of the moon. On my red branch, it's about Neil Armstrong growing up. Now, he grew up on a farm in the USA. So he grew up on a farm in the USA. He loved aeroplanes, loved everything about them. He would watch them in the sky, he would make models, he would buy books to give him as much information as he could find about flying and about planes. Because of this, he needed to earn some extra cash. So he would go out and cut people's grass for money. On his 15th birthday, he was lucky enough to actually fly in a real plane. So 15th birthday, flew in a real plane. Beneath that on my brown branch is about his trip to college. Now, when he left the farm, he went to college to study. Unfortunately, he had to leave college because of the Korean War. Now, because he knew how to fly, he was a pilot in the Korean War and won himself 3 gold medals. 3 gold medals. When the war finished, he went back to college to finish off his studies. On my purple branch are about his jobs. Now, his first job was working as a test pilot, testing aeroplanes to make sure they worked as they should. He became an astronaut, however, when he was 32. Now, 32 was a brilliant time to be an astronaut because there were two countries in what was known as the space race, and they were the USA and Russia. And the USA and Russia were having a race to see who could land a man on the moon first. And the USA, they won the race with Neil Armstrong being their astronaut. So Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon for the USA. On my blue branch, a few bits about his life. He was born in 1930. There he is as a little baby. He had 3 children. You can count them. 1, 2, 3. He loves to listen to jazz music. And as he got older, he loved to play practical jokes on people, which is my little smiley laughing sign. So I just want you to take a moment, quickly tell the person next to you some facts about Neil Armstrong using the mind map to help. If you want to pause the video, feel free to do so. Fantastic stuff. So we've taken a look at our mind map, we've given ourselves some facts, but what's the point of showing you this now? What I would like you to do this time, I'd like you please to tell each other all about Neil Armstrong without referring to the mind map. Go. What was on that picture? Pause the video, tell each other the facts. Fantastic. So let me ask you a couple of quick questions. Tell me, please, where did Neil Armstrong grow up? At what age did he fly the plane? What did he used to do to earn extra money? He left the farm. Where did he go? Fantastic. Why did he have to leave college? What did he win in the war? Brilliant. What was his first job? He worked as a... How old was he when he became an astronaut? How many children? And what kind of music did he like? Brilliant. What we did there, we took a massive amount of information that when you looked at it, it looked like it might be quite hard work. It would take you ages to learn. Simply by showing you it in a slightly different way, we made it incredibly quick and easy for your brain not only to learn, but to remember as well. Now, Mind Map is a brilliant tool you can use as you go through and you study. And it's also a brilliant one to keep your brain on track and to gather your ideas. So as we go through the session, we're going to create a mind map with the ideas that you come up with around helping you make these big decisions. Another thing about Neil Armstrong, as I said at the beginning, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He loved planes. He wanted to look into flying. He knew he wanted to be an astronaut. He had that drive. He had that passion. Now, for some of us, we don't know exactly what we want to do. So it's trying to think about the best way of organizing our thoughts. So a couple of quick questions. I'd like you to think about, please, your favorite subject in school. Chances are you'll be able to do this quite quickly. Then I want you to think about why it's your favorite subject. What is it that you particularly like? Is it the teacher? Is it that you enjoy it? Is it you find it a challenge? Maybe you like the kind of competitive aspect of testing yourself as you go through. Then I want you to think about your favorite hobby. What is it you love to do outside of school? Again, think about your reasons why. So at this point, I'd like you please to pause the video, take a moment, make a few notes. What's your favorite subject? And really think about why. What are your reasons? And the same with your favorite hobby. Why is it your favorite? So thinking about those questions just starts to give us that emotional drive. So taking a look at emotions. On the screen, I've got three celebrities. We've got Usain Bolt, David Beckham, and Jessie J. Now, all of them reached the top of their profession. They hit their peak, they had a talent, they knew what they wanted to do. But they all shared something else, not just talent, something else. So what do you think these three celebrities all have in common? Now, you probably would have said they're all famous. They've all earned quite a bit of money. They're well known. One thing they all share, emotionally wise, is passion. They were all super passionate about what they wanted to do, where they wanted to go. And it kind of transfers when you look at their stories. They didn't just overnight become an amazing success. Usain Bolt, as he was growing up, they had very little money. He ran without shoes. He just ran and ran and ran. Nowadays, we buy the bestest running trainers we can to help our performance, whereas Usain Bolt actually ran just as he was with his bare feet. The fastest man in the world. He was the first person to hold the 100-meter and the 200-meter record together, and he's a world champion. Now, he has a passion for running, but also a passion for being the best. And he liked that idea of competitive sport to prove that he had achieved something. Jessie J made her West End debut at 11 years old, studied at the Brit School with Adele and Leona Lewis. Now, she had a serious heart condition and had a stroke at age 20. Right at the point when she should be at the peak of her profession, she then had to start to rebuild her life and her career. Her record company went bust just before releasing her first single, but she kept going because she knew that was what she wanted. She had that passion, she had that reason why. David Beckham. David Beckham had this rule that every time training finished, he had to score 50 goals in a row. He had to get them into the back of the net 50 times in a row without missing. Now, when they finished training, everyone else would go off home, go to the park, but he would stay at the training field with his ball and he would kick it at the goal. If he got it in 43 times and missed, he would go back to number one. It had to be 50 times in a row. Now, by doing that, he was training his brain and he was building on being the best that he could. A lot of the other kids who were playing football with him had gone home as soon as training finished, went off to do other things. But he wanted to be the best. So nobody told him to do that. He tried 50 times to get that ball in to make himself the best. So we need to think about what you are passionate about to keep you motivated, to keep you focused as you study. So I want you to have a little think about what makes you happy. What makes you happy? What are you passionate about? What are the things that you really enjoy, that you really, really love? You may want to look back to that question about your favorite subject and why you like it and your favorite hobby. So take a few moments, have a think about what makes you happy, what you're passionate about. Pause the video and just write them down on your branch where it says happy. Fantastic. So thinking about what we're passionate about, what makes our hearts sing, is a really good start to think about the best options for us to take. I'm going to show you some other celebrities now. One thing is what we're good at and what we're known for. So I want you to take a look at these celebrities. We have got Lisa Kudrow, we've got Chris Martin, J.K. Rowling, Rowan Atkinson, Brian May, and Neil Armstrong. I'd like you, please, just to pause the video and take a moment to think about what they are good at. So, what are these celebrities good at? Go. Now, being good at might also be what they are known for. So, Lisa Kudrow is famous for acting. She was in Friends, lots of other films. Chris Martin is known for singing, lead singer of Coldplay. J.K. Rowling, famous writer, wrote Harry Potter. Down the bottom, Rowan Atkinson. Rowan Atkinson, famous comedic actor. You possibly recognize him from being Mr. Bean. Parents in the Room, possibly from being Blackadder and those series. We've got Brian May, lead guitarist of Queen, famous and known for being brilliant on the guitar. And Neil Armstrong was really good at flying. He was an astronaut, so he was really good at flying and space. So these are what these people were really good at. And that's another thing that's important to think about when it comes to choosing your options. What am I good at? What are my key skills? So think about the questions. What am I already good at? And what key skills do I already have? So what am I good at? And what key skills do I already have? I'd like you, please, to just pause the video, take a moment to write down those key skills on your red branch. Now, sometimes it's quite tricky to think of what skills we already have, because as humans, we tend to focus on our negatives, not so much on our positives. So for you guys, it might be that you have skills in communication. It might be your skills are in empathy. It may well be that they're more technical skills, that you're really good at hands-on projects. Things also that you're very good at may function outside of school. Things like maybe singing, dancing, football, sports. But what we can do is if we hone in on the things that we are good at, the skills we already have, one, we can use that as a way to guide us into the subjects that we might enjoy as we go through the next few years. But it'll also identify maybe skills we need to learn, that we need to take on board to get us as far as we can. Another thing people often think about when considering their options is what their friends are doing. We like to be with our friends. It may be one of the reasons why your favorite subject was your favorite was because you were with your friends and you had fun. Now, the key thing about your friends and thinking about your friends are always going to be your friends, but they might be aiming for something different to you. If we take a look at the TV series Friends, we looked at Lisa Kudrow earlier, Phoebe on the end. Each one of these 6 friends who spent loads of time together all do different careers. Chandler was an IT procurement manager, Rachel, a fashion executive, Ross was professor of paleontology, dealing with dinosaurs, Monica was a chef, Joey was an actor, and Phoebe, well, she had lots of different jobs going on here, there, and everywhere. So, although they were really good friends, their careers were all completely different. Now, I'm sure if you ask your parents, whoever's at home with you, about who they went to school with, they will probably tell you that everyone is doing completely different jobs. For me personally, of my best friends at school, my friend Natalie is an air hostess for BA. She works in first class. My other friend Georgina is an estate agent. My friend Lisa works in human resources, so a proper people person. And my best friend Lizzie is an engineer. I'm obviously an educational trainer, so I work in presenting in education. So we all do completely different things, but we're still really good friends. So don't choose your options around what your friends are doing. You'll be able to see them at break time, at lunchtime, maybe in some other lessons. You need to really focus on you and what is going to work best for you. So thinking about what makes you happy, what you're good at, possibly not so much what are my friends doing. One really big thing to help you with this is to think about, what do you want? What do you actually want to do? Now, we said at the beginning, some of you have probably got no idea yet. Your brain just goes, I don't actually know. So let's have a think about maybe those favorite hobbies and where jobs or careers might come from. Because I always remember when I started university, I did media and performance, really excited, wanted to work in television. On my first day, they showed us the credits on a film and they said, we want you to watch this and write down any job that you have no idea what it is. And it amazed me how many people work on a film and I had no idea what they actually did. And what they said was, by looking into each of these jobs, we could work out more where we might want to go. So we're going to try that with you guys now. We're going to use the idea of a noughts and crosses board, and we're going to start to fill out some information around possible career options. So say, for example, your favorite hobby was sport. It was the thing you love, the thing that makes you happy. Let's take a little look at putting it in the middle of our grid. Around the outside, we then write down different kind of careers that might relate to sport. It may be that you enjoyed sport because you liked the idea of being fit, being healthy. You could maybe be a gym instructor. It might be that you liked the idea of sport around the idea of the muscles, how it all works, maybe sports massage. You might want to coach. There's a sport you really like, you really enjoy, you might want to coach others. You can maybe go into ticket sales, actually working at a sporting ground, so you're still a part of it without necessarily playing it. Because sport might be something you love, but not actually in a physical way. Maybe being on an events team, working out those big events for sports teams, sports companies. Maybe if you like biking, you could be cycle repairs, maybe a physio. So there are loads of different options for each area that you like. Say cooking is something that you're passionate about, that you love to do. There are hundreds of different jobs around cooking. Food preparation, lab technician, manufacturing, a waiter or a waitress, maybe a cafe owner. You can maybe look into farming or health foods, where the food actually comes from. So once you start to think about it, you can see that although it might just be a hobby or the thing you love, there possibly is a way that you could find a job within that section. So what I'd like you to do in a moment, I'd like you to draw yourself a noughts and crosses grid, put one of your hobbies or something that you're passionate about in the middle, and then simply think about different jobs that you feel could relate to that hobby. My example here around the Xbox, if that's what you love to do, what could you do around that? Could you be a game designer? Could you work in a computer shop? Maybe be a YouTuber, have an online business, maybe even do some online tutoring. Maybe you like shopping. You could own your own shop, write a blog, maybe be a window dresser, a personal shopper. So I'd like you, please, just take a moment, draw yourself that noughts and crosses grid, Maybe do 2 or 3. Look at the different things you're passionate about, your different hobbies that you really, really like. It might even be your favorite subject at school, the thing you love to study. And have a little think about what jobs might relate to that topic, to that hobby, and write them in around the outside. Pause the video, try the idea, and then when you're ready, press play, and we'll carry on. So, when it comes to thinking about those different types of jobs, we can actually start to give ourselves some real focus. There may be certain things that you need to look at that you can work on over the next few years that are going to build you up towards that job or that kind of job. So, it's really a case of taking a moment to stop and think about, what do you want? What is it that you actually want? I'd like you to do now on your mind map, simply pause the video and I want you to pop down just a couple of those jobs, maybe a couple that sounded really interesting that you'd like to get some more details about, that you really fancy doing or trying. So pause the video, jot down a couple of those jobs on your mind map. What this does is it gives you some really nice opportunities to start to really think about where you want to go and the different opportunities that are out there. So we've been looking at the screen for quite a while. You've been doing some different activities. I want to give you another little physical exercise to try. What I'd like you to do for me, please, is pop your hands out in front of you like this. Now I simply want you to flip your hands over so your hands are back to back and your thumbs are pointing down. Pop one wrist on top of the other and link your fingers together. Then you're going to roll your hands around by your tummy and up under your chin. Let's just try that again. So they go out, they go back to back, pop one on top of the other, link your fingers together, roll them up under your chin. Now, in a moment, working with the people around you, one of you is going to have your hands linked like this. The other person is going to point to one of your fingers without touching it. You're simply going to lift it up, pop it back down. They're going to point to another finger. You're going to lift that one up, pop it back down, and so on. Give a little try a few times, then swap over. Try it the other way. So make sure you don't touch the finger when you point because that makes it easier. Pause the video and give it a try. Awesome. Now, you probably found one of 3 things happened. You either got it right first time, you maybe went for the finger on the wrong hand first, or you kind of ended up going, and you can see that finger, but for some reason it is going nowhere. Now, it's perfectly natural. As you look at your fingers, your eyes think your hands are linked like this. So left is on the left, right is on the right, which is why you pick up the finger on the wrong hand first. By crossing them over, what it does kind of confuses the messages that go between your eyes, your brain to your hand, to your brain to your eyes. And it's a really good exercise to do, just to really get your brain thinking slightly outside of the box and to give it a little physical break. So let's crack on with our course and our slides and just talk a little bit more around actually what we can do to build up our choice and our options. So we talked about jobs. Let's take a look at that further focus on maybe careers, on college, on university. Because one thing you need to think about when choosing your options are, what do I need for that next step? What do I need for college, for university? Are there certain skills that I'm going to need to get me into the world of work that I don't necessarily already have? Are there certain subjects that I'm going to need to study to make sure I get that degree? Now, there are lots of things that you enjoy within school and outside of school. So it's thinking about what might be the best option to give you the most rounded choices. So if I bring up our celebrities again, now our 6 celebrities are all known for acting, for singing, for comedy. However, every one of them has a degree in a different field. So here are my 6, and in the middle are their 6 qualifications. So one of them got a degree in biology, one got a master's degree in electrical engineering, one has a degree in French and classics, one has a PhD in astrophysics, one has a degree in Greek and Latin, and one has a degree in aeronautical engineering. I want you please to take a look at those 6 qualifications and our 6 celebrities. Pause the video, see if you can match them up. Which degree belongs with which celebrity? Pause, off you go. Okay, so let's take a look, see if we got them right. Liz Kudrow, Phoebe in Friends, has a degree in biology. Rowan Atkinson, known as Mr. Bean, has a master's degree in electrical engineering. Chris Martin, the lead singer of Coldplay, has a degree in Greek and Latin. Brian May, the lead guitarist of Queen, has a PhD in astrophysics. J.K. Rowling writes, obviously, Harry Potter, but her degree is in French and classics. And Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, has a degree in aeronautical engineering, as you probably got right. Now, the idea with this, all of these celebrities are very famous for their talent, for what they loved, what they were passionate about, but they also had a degree in another area. So it gave them lots of options when they came out of school. Always remember thinking that actually, if I got my qualifications and I got myself my GCSEs, I got a degree, I got loads of qualifications on my CV, that would then leave me open. It would give me more possibilities, more options for what I then wanted to do. So sometimes it's thinking about those key skills and those key subjects that are going to get you into that college or university. Now, at the minute, you guys don't necessarily know what that might look like. So maybe see if there are websites that you can look at. Here are a few examples. It might be you look at Target Jobs. You can maybe look at UCAS, maybe Prospects. Have a little think about what skills you think you might need or what qualifications you might need to help you go on to that next step for college. We know we need to get good GCSEs, but what kind of GCSEs might give you the skills you need to carry through into the future? Pause the video for a moment, have a little think. This might be one you need to do a bit more research in later down the line, but just have a little think about what qualifications and skills you feel you might need to get you into that higher education, college, just into the world of work. I absolutely love this quote. I trained 17 years to be an overnight success. We've already seen by looking at some of the celebrities through our presentation that actually success doesn't just happen overnight. We have to work at it. There are going to be things that might be a bit tricky, that might feel a bit awkward, that might throw us, but we need to work hard to gain that success. Now, naturally, as humans, we like to surround ourselves with people. And another key step in that decision-making process of you choosing your options is thinking about who could help you. So your teachers know you really well. They know how you study, they know how you learn, and they can see what you're interested in as they teach you. So they're a brilliant source of information about what might be the best option for you and how they feel you would manage a certain subject. Now, already in the sessions this evening, you will have seen different teachers talking about their subjects and what's involved. If you'd like more information or maybe your teacher's opinion on what they think of you taking their subject, ask them. You could send them an email. You can maybe approach them in class. We're going to give you some contact details in a minute. Your parents. Parents that are out there, you know that you know your child really well. Our parents know us probably the best of anyone except ourselves. They see you when you're doing your homework. They see you with the things you enjoy inside of school, outside of school. So actually use your parents as a sounding board. Tonight's been lovely that you've been able to actually talk about things together as we've gone through the session, but keep that going. As you look more into which options you would like to choose, ask your parents what they think. Parents, maybe give a few ideas. We talked at the beginning about 3 points of view, a reason why, maybe why not, and are there any more questions or more information that you need? So think about this when it comes to each aspect. Another person you could ask might be your careers advisors. Careers advisors have got a whole heap of information at their fingertips about what certain jobs we could get, what courses you could do, what you need for certain careers in certain fields. So it's worth checking that information with them. Now, some of your contacts within the school, you can contact Kaylee Towers, who is the Higher Educational Progression Officer. You can contact Shona Stone, the Prospects Careers Advisor, Chris Coombs, your Assistant Head of Year, and Willow Stocker, your Year Team Leader. They also have a dedicated email address just around options, which is options@oakbank.org.uk. So if you have any questions or you wanted any more information, feel free to send them an email directly to the options email address. And they can get back to you with any answers. Someone else who you might like to ask to help you are your friends, teachers, parents, and careers advisors, but also your friends. Actually, your friends know you really well. They know you in a different way to your teachers, to your parents. Ask for their opinion. You don't have to do what they say. You're not asking them to tell you what to choose. You're just asking their opinion. See what they're looking at, why they've chosen their subjects, what that emotional reason is for them. So gather a wide range of ideas, a wide range of opinions before you make those final decisions to make sure that the choice you make is an informed one with the most information you can get. So what I'd like you to do on your mind map, simply jot down who you are going to ask to help you in making this decision about your options. So pause the video, write down who is going to help you. Fantastic stuff. So through the session, we've thought about lots of different little areas just to help you really focus in on the options that are going to be best for you to choose. The things that make you happy, the things that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, are going to be things you're going to feel motivated to work towards. Looking at the skills you already have, what skills have you got? How could you use those when it comes to looking at those different subjects? Focus in on jobs. Take the thing that makes you happy, the field, that passion. Look at what actual jobs you could do around it. Maybe do a little bit more research into what qualifications you need to have to actually go out and work in that career. Look at the skills that you've got and what skills you might need to build on to actually gain those right qualifications. Finally, look at who. Ask people for help. These next few weeks are going to be vital in getting all the information you can to make the right decision for you around your options. So think about those areas. Have a look at what's on the table, what you can choose between. Get all the information you can. If one of the subjects looks really, really interesting, but it might be a little bit tricky, a little bit hard to get your head around, think about that idea of our mind map. When you first saw the text, your brain went, oh, I don't think I can do that. Maybe an hour to learn it. Within a matter of minutes, looking at the mind map, you knew all those facts about Neil Armstrong. Tell me, please, where did Neil Armstrong grow up? How old was he when he became an astronaut? How many children did he have? Fantastic. So just this idea of looking at things slightly differently, making sure you get all the information that you need and the best information for you to use to make the right decision. Because these options are for you and your future. So think about what works for you, what you might need to carry on that future for you. Choose the options that work. Thank you ever so much for your time today. You have been amazing. If you have any questions, feel free to email the options at a bank address, or you can contact us at positivelymad.co.uk. I've been Kim at Positively Mad. Any questions, feel free to email them through. Thank you for your time this evening. Feel free to go back through, rewatch any of the techniques, any of the explanations to help you over the next few weeks in this process. Good luck with making your decisions and hope you have the best time through the next few years studying your options to get yourselves onto that future you deserve. Take care, stay safe. From me and everybody at Positively Mad, we will see you soon. Thank you ever so much for watching.